Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Maulidina Mutia, and I'm a student from Magister of English Department at University of Sumatera Utara, and my registration number is 197052017. And for these sections, I want give the explanation about the cognitive stylistic analysis of Robert Frost's poetry, and the poetry title is A Fire and Ice. And for the first one, I want give you to know about who is Robert Frost. So, Robert Frost was born on March 26, 1874 in San Francisco, California. He spent the first 11 years of his life there until his journalist father, William Prescott Frost Jr., died of tuberculosis. Following for his father's passing, Frost moved with his mother and sister, Jenny, to the town of Lawrence. They moved in with his grandparents, and Frost attended Lawrence High School. In 1894, Frost had his first poem. The title is My Butterfly and Elegy. Published in The Independent, a weekly literary journal based in New York City, two poems, The Tuft of Flowers and The Trial by Existence, were published in 1906. He could not find any publisher who were willing to underwrite his other poems. And Robert Frost was an American poet and winner of 4 Pulitzer Prizes. Famous works include Fire and Ice, Nothing Gold Can Stay, and Home Burial. His 1916 poem, The Road Not Taken, is often read at graduation ceremonies across the United States. As a special guest at President John F. Kennedy inaugurations, Frost became a poetic force and an official poet laureate of United States. Some of Frost's most well-known poems include The Road Not Taken, Birches, Fire and Ice, Mending Wall, Home Burial, The Death of the Hired Man, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, Acquainted with the Night, and Out. On January 26, 1963, Frost died from complications related to prostate surgery. He was survived by 2 of his daughters, Leslie and Irma. His ashes are interred in a family plot in Bennington, Vermont. So we become about Fire and Ice meaning. Fire and Ice, a popular poem by American poet Robert Frost, 1874 until 1963. It was written and published in 1920. The speaker believes fire to be more likely were either of the two, and links it directly with what he or she has taste of desire. In ironically conversational tone, the speaker adds that ice, which refers had and indifference, will also be great as a way of bringing about the end of the world. The speaker, or Robert Frost, wakes up 2 different scenarios for the end of the world. Some people think the world will end in fire, whereas others think ice is more likely. Based on Frost's experience with desire, he tends to agree with those who believe fire is more likely scenario. If the world were to end twice, however, Frost feels that based on his knowledge of human hatred, ice would be an equally powerful method of destruction. Despite its likes and conversational tone, Fire and Ice is a bleak poem that highlights human beings' talent for self-destruction. The poem is a work of eschatology, writing about the end of the world and process 2 possible causes for this end, fire and ice. Frost uses the natural elements as symbol for desire and hatred, respectively, arguing that both emotions left unchecked have the capacity to destroy civilization. And now, I will give you the whole the poem of Fire and Ice. Here it is. So now we become to cognitive stylistic. Cognitive stylistic is an advanced field on the crossroads of linguistics, cognitive science, and literary studies that presuppose the integration of linguistic analysis with cognitive theories. Cognitive stylistic approach is suitable to explain the linguistic construction of world view and text. Sema theory is often used to assist the learning of second language. It helps learners to activate their background knowledge. Cognitive metaphor theory refers to the understanding of one idea or conceptual domains in terms of another. Text-to-word theory, text-to-self connections, and highly personal connection that a reader makes between a piece of reading material and the reader's own experience of life. So, we become independence of creativity and novelty in Fire and Ice. The first one is the coherence among figures of speech, such as apostrophe. Apostrophe is almost synonymous with the lyric Voice by Kennedy and Wensler Henry. It is generally used to address of son, people, or personified things. In other words, apostrophe as a figure of speech is associated in its use with personification. In Fire and Ice, Frost used apostrophe to address the personified envir in the first stanza by using samse, which is samse refers to an envir. An envir describes the end of the word cursed by human that refers from some say words. Hence, the metaphorical formula that can be captured here from the linguistic structure and envir is that some say is a human word. Personification. Personification is basically the human characteristic which are defined through different objects and non-human items, and in this poem, Frost used the fire and ice are two objects which have to broached by the poet as non-human elements but are designed to spread the human characteristic of hatred as worldly desires. Metaphor. In metaphor, Frost switches the name between two, fire and ice. Fire and ice uses a metaphor, although it is an implied metaphor where Frost compares fire and ice without implying it or pointing out. In this poem, two metaphors have been used where the word ice have a metaphor to the word hatred, and fire is a metaphor of human desire but after creating two metaphors. And then the paradox. The paradox in this poem, a great paradox has been defined. There is discordance in the belief of world's destruction. A scientific study says that the world will be ended through a freezing or icing temperature, while the other religious and cultural beliefs of destruction suggest it will be by fire. So there is a big paradox has kept in this poem by the poet. Frost has felt it undecided that either mode of destruction shall activate at time of ending this world. And the second section is about new conceptual mapping and new stylistic framework. In line 5 and 6 from the poem, but if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hat. Frost described a hat that can be described by Ferris. The word hat, which provides a highly negative evaluation of that. This heaven described the hated feel that got from a person who favor. As a result of this mapping, the new metaphorical formula that can be captured here, that hate is love. So I think that's all about my presentation, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.